What's going on, YouTube? Just got off on exit 56. You can see I'm at my serene spot, chilling like a villain. In this particular video, I want to talk about not evolving, the exotics evolving. I don't want to talk about. I want to talk about that, but I need to do a little bit more homework before I do, because I want timelines to let y'all know certain stuff. But in this particular video, I want to talk about how you do evolve in the dog game, or how you will evolve, or how your vision change. I don't know how I'm gonna name or title this freaking video. I don't know. I just know I want to talk about how it's going to happen. 100% going to happen. You're going to evolve. And you're gonna, because it's a business at the end of the day. And I want y'all to hear me when I say this, if you run any business, if you don't evolve, you're more than likely gonna get left behind. Like, more than likely. Music, it went from what? Was it 8 tracks first? And then it was record players? Or vice versa? Anyhow, I start with record players, you know what I mean? Music with, you know, your got vinyl. I just say vinyl. I won't even get into 8 tracks because I don't know which came first. I don't know. But it went from vinyl to tapes, regular cassette tapes, from cassette tapes to CDs, from CDs to streaming. So the music game had to evolve. You know, it was a business, had to evolve. And it's probably somebody that was born in 2010, like cassette tapes, but CDs. Oh no, y'all probably know now, because now they bringing it back. Like, if you take a company like Walmart, man, when I was growing up, Walmart used to sell, like, it was a grocery store. You know what I mean? Like, from what I can remember, my early days going into Walmart, it had a small amount of groceries. It had this huge amount that you see now. A small amount of groceries, clothes, house products, the electronic area. It was like a little bit of everything you see now, but not as much. Like, it was on a smaller scale. I can't remember what was more in there. I don't know if clothes was more in there. I do remember the food section not being as big. I do know that. I remember they had like the little place in there, the little icy, where you get your foot-long hot dog and all that. Like, it's so. But you look at Walmart from the 90s to now, they evolved. Man, Netflix, Blockbuster. I remember going to buy movies from Blockbuster, and you know, games from Blockbuster, and next thing you know, Netflix. You know, I'm pretty sure it was other steps in between that, but shit, look what happened to Blockbuster. If I ain't mistaken, Netflix wanted to buy Blockbuster. They didn't want to sell. What happened? They ran them folks out of business. Dummies. They didn't see the future. You know what I mean? They didn't evolve. They didn't want to evolve. So you gotta evolve, bro. If you don't evolve in this dog game, you're gonna get left behind. Now, when I say evolve, I don't mean chasing the fad, like chasing the hype. That ain't what I mean by evolving. The difference between the two is, chasing the hype is, I want to breathe to this lilac try Merle, or chocolate try Merle, or lilac try chocolate try. I hate saying all them. I always say the same few colors, but them the colors people know. So, because them the colors they want. But I'm gonna breathe to them color Merles or tries just because, so I can get this color and I can sell. Like, that's the only thing you going for. You wasn't breeding the dog for nothing else. You just wanted that color. That's chasing hype. Evolving is, I like that lilac try, chocolate try Merle, lilac try Merle, whichever color. I like that color, but I want it on this structured dog. I want this top line to look like this. I want this spread to look like this. I want his front to look like this. I want his feet to look like this. I want his hocks to look like this. I want his rear to look like that. You know, I want him to have a full tail. I want him to have a bull neck. He don't have to have a clean bite, but if he can get close to clean, cool. I want his eye separation to be like this. I want his cheeks to look like this. You know what I mean? I want his stop to look like this. You know what I mean? So it's gonna be a lot of different stuff that, when I say you start evolving, that you're gonna be looking for. You might want that color, but you want it in what you want it in. That's the difference between chasing the fad and evolving. You know what I mean? It's a huge, huge, huge difference. And I would say, I'm gonna throw out a percentage, and I don't know if this percentage is true, but I'm gonna say it like it's true. So if I say it like it's true, and I say it with confidence, you'll probably believe me. 98% of the people that start in the dog game, they usually start off with a local breed or somewhere that they no longer either breed their blood no more, or they breed their blood all the way out, and they don't have the same vision as the same person that they started with. And I'm just, with me, I started off with 2019 breeding exotics, and the vision that I started with, because I didn't really have a vision. I say that I didn't know. So the people that I was buying exotics from, I was getting solid stuff. I actually was getting solid stuff, but I didn't know what to do with it. You know what I mean? I just knew I had to do whatever I had to do. So, but I was getting stuff, and I still got some of the stuff to this day, still running some of it, because you're gonna either do one or two things. You're either gonna get rid of what you started with because your vision or you started evolving, it changed. You're either gonna get rid of it, or you're gonna see that, oh no, I like it, but I need to breed something else to it to get this. One or two things gonna happen. And what usually end up happening when I say you end up evolving, because the person that you usually end up rocking with in the beginning, usually that's the person you're going to get the female. That's usually the person you're going to get the stud credit. That's usually the person you're going to ask questions. That's usually the person you go to damn near for everything, bro. You damn near go to them for everything in the beginning, because you don't know and they know, and they've been in it for a while. So you just, everything them, hitting them, until you get a few breedings under your belt. And then you just kind of feel like, okay, all right, I've done all I could with them. And that's not a bad thing. I've done all I could with them. I bred the females that I had with them left and right. I bred to a few of their studs. I've got this, I sold it, I kept this, I bred that. You've done what you could. But then you get to a point where y'all start to just separate. Not in a bad way, good way. Just separate. They going that way, you going this way. You start to see like, oh, I need to incorporate this in my yard, because I'm not gonna get that from them. They don't have that. Not to say they can't go get it, they just don't have it. Now, your wheels turning because you're evolving. You wanting more. What they was giving you or what you're getting from them is not what you need, because now your vision's starting to change. You're evolving more. You're not the same breeder that you once were. So now you're looking at what they have, and it's like, okay, cool. I don't want you to feel like you're getting left behind, because you can't get left behind by bullshitting. Now, I ain't gonna, you can't be cheap neither. Can't be cheap, because being cheap will get you left behind. That's one thing. I ain't saying spending a lot of money won't get you left behind either, because that will too. You gotta be sensible with your money, but you can't always be looking for a $500 stud fee. Granted, you can find it, and somebody has some fire. I know one or two people got some fire. $500 stud fee. You know what I mean? And you could probably get something from it, because the pet is pretty nice. The dog is nice. But you ain't finding it like that. So, you know what I mean? A lot of them $500 stud fees don't really be like what you're looking for. So, you want to be careful with that as well. But you will get left behind if you don't evolve. If you don't change it up a little bit. You know what I mean? And like I say, it's a difference between evolving and chasing the fad. You know what I mean? Don't chase the fad, but you do got to evolve, because now that, let's say the person that you've been rocking with, now that y'all separating, because, hey, he might not want no dog that's crazy compact. He might not want no dog that's 9 inches tall and no more than 2 inches. And he might not want a dog whose back is crazy compact and the back was like no more than 2 inches longer than the wither, some shit like that. How do you saying? So he might not want that crazy compact small nano dog. He might be cool with his dog being 12 inches. You know what I mean? 12 inches tall at the withers. That might be what he's into. So, and that's cool. But you, on the other hand, you want this. You want this small little dog, but you still want it with big dog features. You don't want to lose the substance of the dog. So, of course, you're not gonna get that. You can get it from that, but if the blood that guy that you've been rocking with is not known to throw it, you're not gonna keep going back to it. Doesn't make sense. So why would you keep doing it? That's the definition of insanity. You're gonna get the same results. So you have to evolve, like I say, or you will get left behind. And most people sit here and listen like, well, what's your definition of getting left behind? Well, my definition of getting left behind, it could vary, and it depends on your vision as well. You know, if your vision is, I want to create this 9-inch dog, crazy compact, chocolate tri, a nice spread, a tail, nice rears, you know, all that, the whole kit and caboodle on the dog, and you're not breeding that, you still breeding to dogs that was out in 2015, which, don't get me wrong, you need some of that old stuff, but I'm just using it for example. But you still breeding to dogs that's like 14 inches tall, you're gonna get left behind, bro, because somebody's selling you on a pet, or they're selling you on, no, you gotta evolve. You gotta go out and get what you're looking for. You have to evolve, or you're gonna go out of business. You're gonna go out of business. That's what's gonna happen. You know, and I hate to say it, but that's what's gonna happen. You're gonna go out of business, and your product is not gonna sell like you want to. Now, it's tough anyway to sell one of anything. And you're talking about selling dogs, so it's really tough. So stuff like this, sometimes. All right, guys, I'm back. I had to end up deleting some stuff because my phone's messing up, so I gotta fix that when I get back to the crib. So I'm gonna try to make this short and sweet, since, you know, I'm running out of space until I clear up some space. What I was saying was, it's tough to sell one of anything, especially talking about dogs, and how you will go out of business if you don't evolve. All those things are true, and I do know breeding dogs is easier. If you have dogs that's 4 or 5 months and you've been trying to get them off, it's easier to feed a dog that you like looking at, more so than feeding a dog that you don't want to look at because you don't like how it turned out. You know, now you're trying to get rid of it for a dumb low price. So but what I was saying, but for you to even get to what you want to look at, you're gonna have to evolve. You're gonna have to, the vision gonna change. Like, is the evolution gonna be key to, it's gonna be key to your program. You know, it's key. Evolution is key to your program. And if you're not evolving, then you will get left behind. I understand it completely. You will get left behind. You have to evolve. And like I told you before, evolving is different from chasing the fad. Since the video stopped, it kind of threw me off. I lost my mojo. So I'm gonna go ahead and call it quits. So that's it, that's all. I don't have anything else to say to y'all. Take care of your fur babies, love your fur babies. Peace.